7 now, and hopefully it's a good one because I'm sick of seeing low play.
Thanks, Tom. We absolutely
Steven,
are, and I'm really
commentator.
excited to introduce our blue team because it's Team Goon Squad.
Okay.
So holding it down, our A Goon is going to be Everett. Holding down the B spot for the Goon Squad is Brandon. And then finally in that C spot is the anchor, it's Thomas.
Okay.
And then up next, our competitors, right? Because it wouldn't be a competition without another team there. You're going to recognize these people. It is the Shu brothers and Lou.
Oh, Shu Ping. Yes.
Now the man needs no introduction, but it is Shun Ping
Ping.
Shu hounding the A spot. Finally, it's Anthony Shu in the B spot. And then finally in the C spot, it's Yao Zhong.
Yao Zhong. I would have said it's something like the meme quality. Let's go, man. I want to watch this.
Players get seated now. Okay,
Please
well,
show us Shun Ping's
one of the
match.
most decorated players, one of the more creative players for sure.
Please.
We've seen him last week at the UUDS, just being different with his deck list,
Please
trying
give us
different
Shun
things
Ping's
out,
match.
different boss monsters.
Shun Ping.
What are your thoughts?
He always brings established strategies, but has his own twist to it. And I think that's a huge advantage of his deck building prowess, is his ability to look at the field, understand what could be perceived as the
Better
top
give us
deck,
Shun
but
Ping.
then find ways to take an advantage. Because if you just
We had to sit through
understand
that crap
the
last
typical
round.
play sequences and you only practice against what I'm going to call sort of the stock lists, Shu is going to take advantage of you because he's going to do things like maybe use Pentastag with Boral End Dragon, something that you'd never practiced against and therefore never considered when playing against him. So he takes these established strategies, finds ways to find advantages.
And across the board for the entire Shu team, I think this is what we're looking at. Their entire deck list, in terms of the extra deck, they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all taking advantage of the Pentastag Boral End Dragon combination.
I don't think that's a common strategy for most of the, I guess, Snake Eyes, just the Snake Eye decks.
Yeah, if you have a sort of secondary win condition, a lot of times it's going to be Axis Kotaker. And what I mean by supplemental there is a lot of times we've been seeing the Zelantis with Raging Phoenix combo, but some players elect also to play Axis Kotaker because it can serve as removal as well. These players, though, have all elected to play the Boral End Dragon sort of as the secondary win condition in the extra deck. So it's an interesting decision, and it's made them get all the way here to round 7 of our event.
Yeah, I think it's a very smart choice. Boral End Dragon,
Well,
just
Underworld Goddess,
full of
I'll say.
protection, can't target it with monster effects, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, and can hit every single monster on the field and combine it with Pentastag. It just means that if we're looking down a Snake Eye matchup, say we look at Snake Eye's Flamber's Dragon,
How do I spell
and
Pentastag?
putting that into the graveyard usually means that there's going to be more defenders coming out. Well, that Boral End Dragon is just going to eat it right up.
I know, that's something that you need to consider. Like, is there an argument not to actually use your Flamebird's Dragon when it goes to the graveyard?
Yeah.
Just let it resolve.
Oh,
That's fine. No, no effect.
Okay.
That is unheard of. I mean, the
If you're
protection, the
linked
additional advantage.
monster
A lot of
attacks
people,
your
if they're going to get greedy and want to, get that follow-up is going to cost them everything. And we're going to be going into now game 1. I'm super excited for this matchup. Oh, wow.
It's an inevitability. Eventually we
Oh,
would
it says
settle.
Link.
Is it
Yeah,
a Fire
Link.
King
Yep,
strategy
that
with the
is-
Snake
that's
Eyes, or
a-
it's just Snake Eyes? Well,
okay, I see.
this will be our
Yes,
first
we get
opportunity
Shu
to see
Ping's match.
these two really potent and popular strategies go head-to-head.
And Shun Ping already was featured last week. We've seen how he plays. Just so
Fire King Snake
good.
Eyes versus pure Snake Eyes.
Asserting his dominance by removing his glasses.
Doesn't even need to see the cards now.
Well, he's as good
And
as
you may
half
have
of the
noticed
player
that the
base.
zoning of the field may be a little bit different because left-handed players can't switch the zones there.
Yes.
Draw standby Memphis.
Shun Ping Shu starting off the play. I believe he did win the dial, and he's choosing to go first.
Use effect.
In response, I'm going to...
Normal summon out Snake Eye Ash, the best opening play.
And Infinite Impermanence, which is fantastic.
Infinite Impermanence
From the
is the best
perspective
counter
of
card.
the opponent, this allows him to negate the Ash and not have to worry about a card like Called by the Grave. It also stops the entirety of Ash's effect, at least now, assuming Ash doesn't hit the field again later in the turn.
I believe we're performing a Link summon of Link Karibo. Now, because this is pure Snake Eye, there's no Kirin to help, mitigate the Infinite Impermanence.
So go ending Memphis.
We're ending main phase, and we're going to pass just on Link Karibo.
Well, one of the things about Shu Ping's deck is it is cutting a lot of the sort of generic spell cards that you could play for a lot, and I mean a lot of hand interruptions.
That is more than the average number, that's for sure. And we're going to see a follow-up with
Okay.
Everett, starting with also the summoning of Snake Eye Ash.
Over a third of his deck are hand interruptions.
A third!
Over a third.
The deck list might as well say monster cards, spell cards, and more hand interruptions.
And here we see Droll and Lockbird, one of the many hand interruptions. One that is not necessarily the best against Ash alone. You'd rather use something like Infinite Impermanence, because even though we've seen the Droll and Lockbird hit the field, Everett's still going to be able to make a potent field through Droll and Lockbird. That single Ash, if that's the card that you start with as opposed to, let's say, Bonfire, it's critical.
Now, Shinping here, hand over the mouth. Usually that's telegraphing something, but from what we witnessed last week, that doesn't mean anything. It just means they're deep in thought, finding the perfect point to counter.
Yeah, if you're playing as a player like Shuping, who's been around so long and understands the intricacies, I would just worry about what you have going on, not try and get any reads about body language.
Next up, I'm going to...
That's also the same for Jesse as well, but we're looking here at Shinping. The Linkuriboh has been pushed to the Spell and Trap Zone as a continuous spell card. We're going into Hita. Oh, that is a dangerous card. Remember, in these mirror matches or mirror-esque matches, the graveyard is more or less shared.
And now we see the Flame Burge effect, so he's electing to activate the effect here. Bringing back 2 level 1 monsters.
Well, these are just tokens. Cool.
Anything on
Yeah, thank you.
thinking? Okay.
Oh, on Summon thinking.
If we could
On the
see
mirror.
a variety.
Oh!
Ooh, Nibiru.
Yugioh card.
That's a great one, especially when Flamberge Dragon
great
already
here,
burned the effect to summon out too. This is going to land.
Yeah, no response.
I wouldn't count them out just yet, but also Hita has been used as well, so the follow-up really has been cut down.
3K.
Yeah, Hita is one of the ways that in the aftermath of the Nibiru, you can often reestablish the field by just putting another fire monster and then taking advantage of your opponent's graveyard. So the fact that Hita was destroyed, well, attributed through the effect of Nibiru, can actually hurt Everett's ability to play through the Nibiru.
Oh, that is good timing, good timing. So you can't just rush into Nibiru. There's so many factors to consider. There's also like the danger of what if they have a Diabell start to keep going as well.
Mid is a good
But
combo.
here we are. You know, we're using the Droll and Lockbird combined with the Nibiru. Now we're kind of stacking it up a little bit. Just really cutting out those lines.
What's interesting here is he also has the Linkuriboh in the Spell and Trap card zone. So he also shuts him off of Dark. He's sort of on his own shut off Dark access.
That's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
And remember, Promethean Princess doesn't require fire monsters to make, so you just want as many monsters as possible. But Shinping getting the turn back, normal summoning
Poplar.
out the Snake Eyes Poplar. Is Poplar going to pop off, or are we going to be disrupted?
Pop off.
Effect is okay.
Everett is allowing it to resolve.
I would probably get the field spell here. Because you
Now, for
have-
this matchup, there's many different
everything
cards
you
you can actually. You can go for the field spell, or you can go for original.
Yep, and Shuping is
spell.
electing to play both of those.
Field spell. You get field spell here?
Oh, lots to
Nibiru.
consider. I mean, the field spell protects you against cards like Nibiru because you get the additional monster, and it looks like we're gonna be
Interesting.
using the original Simple Spoil Snake Eye.
Without any obvious ways of special summoning in the graveyard, besides obviously Nimir from the hand, but without there being a Princess or a Garunix or any of the obvious ways in the graveyard, maybe he doesn't value the temple as much, because on the field as it's currently constituted, there's no way that he's going to be special summoning, besides, of course, Nibiru, like we just commented on.
That's right. And original has been activated. We're going to use that Linkuriboh that was pushed to the back as cost and summoning out Oak. Oak having a target in the graveyard, which is going to be the Snake Eye Ash. Is he going to choose the add to hand or special summon? Seems
Special.
like
There's
gonna
no
be the
way
summon.
you
summoning
wouldn't special here.
into one of the columns under the extra monster zone.
It doesn't look like Shuping's playing Relinquished Anima.
No, he's not. He's electing to play the Boral End Dragon combined with the Pentastag. I mean, it kind of just deviates a little bit, but like it makes people feel safe when they're not.
Yeah. So here's a card that we're seeing quite a bit this weekend, which is Birch. Any thoughts on Birch?
I think if you're going to be playing pure Snake Eye, Birch just provides you with even more ways to follow up. I mean, it is a great card, especially when you're trying to break the board and you're going to be disrupted. The Birch could just summon itself out just in case you need the additional
I think people have realized that
ways to
Birch is
push.
maybe not the best
One of the other
option.
things I like about Birch is in sided games, a lot of players this weekend have elected to use Summon Limit. And if you don't have Birch in your deck, when you use Ash, your choice is then go into Poplar, and then you summon into the field, and then you're unable to then use the Ash on the field to send the Summon Limit to get a Snake Eye out of your deck. With Birch, you can actually search Birch, keep it in your hand, use the Ash on field to send the Summon Limit, and then therefore the second summon that you're trying to conduct is allowed to resolve, and then you can summon Birch in the aftermath of that. So it actually gives you some flexibility in sided games as well.
I like that. And speaking of summoning more cards, we have now Snake Eyes, Flamberge Dragon summon onto the field via the effect of Ash.
Put your opponent's Flamberge.
I'm wondering if Everett has additional ways to disrupt this current field. I mean, there is a Flamberge Dragon on the field. If you want to count monsters, Flamberge Dragon, just count that as 3 monsters.
Seems like it.
It does seem like, well, it itself, and then the 2 it brings back.
Plus the one that it eventually gets to the field.
Yeah, also that's on the following turn. I think with 4 monsters, this is quite an easy access to over 8,000 damage.
You got to think about how to play through Nibiru.
It's at the risk of getting hit by a Nibiru if you do commit without, the proper precautions.
Just to clarify, the effective Flamberge, placing monster in the spell and trap card is not a quick effect.
And they're just clarifying certain effects. That Flamberge is not a quick effect to push a monster into the back. However, it is a quick effect to summon a monster back from the spell and trap zone.
On the
either side.
turn only.
Yeah. Which obviously in these Snake Eye strategies, when it's this mirror match, it's quite potent. Ooh, here we go. This is gonna be.
There is the Nibiru. Okay.
Do you know what the stats are?
So that was the danger, but I believe the Flamberge has not activated and we can keep going.
I think he was just verifying about the Flamberge effect just because you could chain it to Nibiru if it was a quick effect, but we would see that interaction way more than we do if it was something that worked like that. It doesn't.
Chainlink 1 Flamberge, Chainlink 2 Poplar. Poplar can put any fire monster into the spell and trap zone. Sometimes you want that Flamberge in the back because you have enough Snake Eye monsters and you can use that to pay the cost and then get additional cards. There's a lot, and there's multiple Flamberges in the Snake Eye deck.
I think there's actually a good chance he's going to do that. Oh, no, looks like he's going to go with Ash.
Still a great card.
Yep, he values being able to potentially summon Ash.
You just get 2
Later
bodies
on.
here.
Yep, and we're going to see Oak and Birch.
Yeah, so Shipping does this and he
That's
makes
still
Hida.
3 materials worth of monsters.
Isn't this just game though?
I think this might still be in the range.
Yeah, it could potentially be. You see, he had to use Nibiru there because it was threatening Apollosa. I don't know if he would have just gone. He may have gone to Apollosa there with just 4 materials on field like that, but I don't know if it's a guarantee. So I don't know if it was a preemptive Nibiru.
It had to be.
Well, let's see if Jinping manages to pivot around this Nibiru. Is he paying cost with the Oak to summon an additional monster? A Nibiru in defense mode. Okay.
Yes, it's
Not the strongest. I think just the base stat line of those Snake Eye monsters can defeat
Yeah,
it.
you can just go for a
Yeah,
Hida
even
here,
without
right?
the field spell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 2 monsters including a fire. You go for Hida. Hida
So we see
effect.
him now going into his own copy of He looks like a Starlight Rare as well.
So that's the timing here. This is the timing that we mentioned earlier when Shinping used the Nibiru. The Hita was not... Basically, we waited for the Hita to be dropped and then Nibiru. Now, because, as you mentioned earlier, now the Hita becomes the follow-up to the Nibiru, and we get to see both sides of the timeline.
What's interesting here is Hida reviving Hida now allows him to go all the way up into Link 4 if he would choose to do so.
Link 3.
I think there is an option for the Zelantis.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here too.
Yeah, so we take the 2, we go into the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames. That's going to special summon back another fire monster out of the graveyard. We are currently firelocked, but likely going to just get rid of our own Promethean Princess.
You cannot do
Without
anything
Nibiru
here.
as a
Like, you
threat,
can't
this
control, you
opens
can't
up
bell.
a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think Shubing's feeling pretty good about this. Seeing that Nibiru hit the field earlier in the turn, now allowing him to use the Hida like you commented on earlier with the Flamebird, it's really lining up quite well here. It's interesting, Everett definitely seems to have some type of hand interruption. It looks like it's a copy of Effect Veiler.
That's very good. Stopping the Bestower of Flames from summoning an additional monster. Now you do need the additional monster. The total monster, or rather the link material count should be about 5 to execute the Zelantis play.
And this might shut him off of that really pivotal single card.
Are we going to link away our own Oak?
Ending main phase.
Ending main phase now.
Yeah, battle's good.
Battle phase?
600, 900 attack?
It's
900, yep.
Here we go, like you were commenting on earlier. Oak attacking over a Nibiru. That doesn't seem like a fair fight.
27 princess.
These all sound like little trees. And the tree defeated the rock.
I know.
No, in this case, I think Shipping
Now
was...
Promethean Princess attacking directly.
I do wonder if he regrets leaving it in defense mode now. Like, it cost him an extra card.
It also would have forced Chuping to do something totally different.
And we are using the effect of the Oak summoning back into a Flamberge Dragon. Now, Flamberge can special summon back that Ash and just help recover additional resources if needed.
Yeah, like I commented on earlier, he put the Ash
here.
there in the spell and trap card zone. He valued having the follow-up of being able to special summon.
Oh, Flamberge effect. We're going to push away the Link Karibo into the spell and trap zone. Ooh, wow.
Here.
Oh, I think I know where this is going. Likely, Shinping has some disruption from the hand that requires targeting. If the level 1 comes down, the Link Karibo would be able to kind of dodge, and we're just going to answer that right now.
Yeah, it's a very astute play then.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
As you mentioned earlier, he does run a lot of disruptions from the hand.
Shipping is just like a pleasure to watch.
Ooh, Bonfire.
That's fine.
I think this is what he was planning for.
You let that go, and then what you do is you just...
Because it has to be a level 1 monster for the Link Karibo, and now that that's not an option, I think Everett has to play into one of those hand interruptions.
Add Poplar.
Poplar has been added to hand.
Trigger Poplar effect. Just do a response.
Chinook one, thank you.
Very decisive, stating the chain links. It's really important to do that so you don't accidentally make any mistakes with these very complicated decks.
No response.
No response from Shinping. Shinping allowing the Poplar to be summoned out onto the field in defense position.
Chinook
Thinking, oh, here we go, Ghost Mourner.
Ah, wow, that's going to turn off of the Poplar.
Ghost Mourner is almost, the 7th, 8th, and 9th copy of Effect Failure / Infinite Impermanence, if you would like.
It is.
It has some interesting applications as a card that can be
Really is.
used during
It's
your
an
turn at some
interesting card.
specific points.
Yep.
So it has some value, and the burn damage doesn't hurt either.
Now, if we look at the current table scores, we have the blue team on the B players. We have Brandon D taking the first one, as well as Thomas M taking the C table, the first game. So, okay.
Circle of the Fire Kings. If
that's
you're going to
an
play the Pure
interesting
Fire, well, not Pure, but if you're going to play Fire Kings with the Snake Eye package as opposed to Pure Snake Eyes, this is one of the interesting card choices that you can play. It is another one of the ways of playing through and around cards like Effect Veiler.
Let's see if Shinping has what it takes to keep going. So, Circle of the Fire Kings chained to...
Lambert.
I believe this was chain to the Mourner, so that we can maximize this. And getting back a fire monster that's going to be really huge, the Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon.
Now he's able to resolve through the Ghost Mourner because it's no longer on the field.
So even though he answered the Link Karibo, the additional copy of the Circle of the Fire Kings just as an additional out to this current play.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of what Shuping wanted, and now the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye is going to put that Link Karibo back into the graveyard, so now it's there to protect. Could you imagine if Shuping's hand is just something like Effect Veiler too?
Yeah, that'd be insane. Now we're going to see the Fire King engine come online. We have the legendary Fire King Ponix now summoned onto the field.
Activate Sanctuary.
And Sanctuary only means one thing. We're going to go into Fire King Island.
So at this point, I'm going to.
I'm not sure
about it.
Shuping knew that Everett was playing any of the Fire King cards based on the opening turn.
I don't think
I don't
he
believe so.
does. And I think one of the things I was definitely caught off guard by has to be Circle of the Fire Kings.
Yeah. So
I don't think this is a common card to be placed in. A lot of people chose not to play it. I think maybe
Everett is
after
able
this
to set
weekend,
up
things will change again. I think we're chasing the circle again.
Before going
I mean,
for the
we just saw here that
secondary
Shuping put more. I don't know if he was playing them last week, but Ghost Mourner is more popular this week than it was last week. As
definitely.
players realizing the value of Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanence, they're going up to 6 copies. In addition to that, Ghost Mourner is less likely to be hit by Crossout Designator, which is a very popular card in a lot of main decks this weekend. As a result, Everett looks at that and says, well, instead of going with Crossout Designator and playing the same hand traps as everybody else, I'm actually going to play a copy of Circle of the Fire Kings to go along with my Kieran to make it so that if you're playing 6, 7, 8 copies of these targeting effect negation from hand, I'm going to just play around you with the Circle.
Yeah. So we're going to use the Flamberge effect and summon out the Ash onto the field. Garunic's effect is likely to destroy a monster from the deck, a fire monster from the deck. And that's going to be Kieran. Kieran is going to be destroyed. There is a monster to summon that's going to be the Ponix, and then we're going to chain Ash onto that additional effect, and that's a lot of chain links. Shinping's main concern now, surviving the turn.
Yeah, he needs to find a way to survive. I mean, the Flamberge Dragon makes it more likely that that's going to happen.
Flamberge is not going to survive him turn.
After that.
But can that opponent, the Everett, push using the Flamberge Dragon just to get rid of it?
Well, the fact that it revived the Ash at least gives some defense too. Like as of right now, revived as in returning it from the spell and trap card to the field. At least put a second body on the field.
For sure. One of the most crucial things that happened in the past turn was the Effect Veiler on the Bestower of Flames, preventing the massive damage that would have come down and maybe closed out the game. But right now, Everett is trying to close out the game. Going to Ponix, there is, if we count the amount of materials that we have available, we have the Flamberge Dragon, we have the Garunix, we
Okay, so
have the
now
Ponix, and so you just add 2 to the number here, and then we have about 5 monsters worth. The Zelantis is now open for it, and we are going to push the Flamberge into the back. Now, unlike old school Tearlament play, this is a much more fragile end board when it comes to fire. Everything can be broken, and then you can push.
And it looks like here the push might be enough for potentially game because we just see the Kieran destroy the Ash that was special summoned. Shuping did something interesting, which is a little counterintuitive if you've been familiar with a lot of the cards that have been printed in the last handful of years, which is Ash searched a copy of Ash for potential follow-up, right? A lot of cards have restrictions that they cannot search themselves. That's not the case with Snake Eyes Ash.
Yeah.
And then he pushed the Flameburge to the Spell and Trap card zone like you commented on earlier.
Now, remember, Hita has been used, but I think most of the extra deck for Everett is more or less basically untouched.
It's supposed to be Link Rebo, and this is probably going to be maybe Dark Charmer.
It's possible. It's going to be Dark Charmer. We want the additional monster. We want to maximize on the resources. The one monster that we do have, the Link Rebo.
Yeah.
And we're going to use them.
Go up to 3. So I have to imagine this Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames.
What a long name.
It's a beautiful looking card, though, on the new regional top 8 mat, actually.
I mean, it is a very nice
A card that came out in Master Duel first.
Definitely interesting, yeah. You don't typically see that. But we
It's
see
gonna
it revive Garunix here.
Yep. I think that's enough.
The bear.
3 that. Oh! Another Nibiru comes out. Shinping's holding on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a wonderful thing. However, there's still the Flamberge Dragon follow-up. I believe the Flamberge Dragon on Everett's side has not activated in the graveyard just yet, or has it?
Yeah, unlike the first Nibiru, I think Everett is in a much, much better position to capitalize. First time that really shut him down. This time, I think he's totally fine.
Yeah, Flamberge Dragon can now get the effect that's going to summon 2, and then we're going to get a follow-up. But we did see the Promethean Princess already be used. So every single time Shinping drops a Nibiru, he waits for certain crucial cards to be played, activated, and then the Nibiru comes down. So that the follow-up definitely becomes a lot weaker. You can't build as strong. Even if you go back into a Promethean Princess now, that effect to summon from the graveyard is once per turn.
It is, yep.
Great timing. Really, really good timing. Now, is Shinping out of cards? No, he still has cards in hand.
He's Ash,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
because he starts Ash on Ash.
And once he Ash on Ash, if there is something that he can use, if there's something left in the deck that Ash can summon out, then that Flamberge can hit the graveyard.
Of course, it's popping.
Yes, of course.
With the summon.
Yeah, so here we are. It took a little while. The Flameburge Dragon had me second guessing. Did we already use? I didn't think we did, but he'd yet to use Flamebird. So what I said earlier that he's in a much better shape is, as opposed to just passing, he has those 2 level 1s. There's a lot that he can still do from here.
Yep.
What can you
I'm
do?
wondering if
Rachel
Everett
can
can
use
still
both channels.
land into, say, an Appaloosa to follow up, maybe to shut some cards down, but there is still a Nibiru. It needs to be 4 materials at least. But there's also the Garunix in the graveyard. It's not going to be the easiest way to push through anymore, especially with Everett setting up the entire Fire King engine.
It is interesting that he already used his Link Rebo, because he can't go into SP as easily by turning one of those level 1s into Link Rebo.
Imagine if that SP landed and got rid of that Flamberge on the field. There's still another one in the graveyard because the Shinping plays 2.
Yes.
Good comments that he won.
One more.
Good job, Tom.
Sounds like Tom is one,
Yeah.
which is one of Everett's teammates.
Game I used Mahita already. It's probably
But they're still in game 1 over here, so nothing's over just yet.
Trying to look and see what Everett can do
Andy, what game you got?
specifically with what he has left in his extra deck.
I'm going to.
This is a very interesting grind game because this is more of a disruption from hand grinding. How much are you willing to commit and push? How much extra deck, like you said, is left for Everett? I don't know. We're going to an IP Masquerena. That's for 3 once again. Now we're going to SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is going to banish the Nibiru.
So that was I would say, somewhat painful SP in the sense that he had to invest 3 cards into it, even though SP is obviously very potent and powerful.
I guess we'll just both let each other shuffle, because, yeah.
Just letting Shipping saying, like, we probably looked through our decks this turn. I searched through Ash, you've searched through quite a few different things. We'll just end the turn by shuffling.
Now, key pressure here is that it's only an SP. I think ever got rid of all the fire options, they're going to need something to enable the Fire King line again.
Yeah, definitely. One thing here is when he draws,
No, my turn.
if there's nothing live that he
Honestly,
draws,
we might have just gone IP.
he's going to summon
that's
Ash.
it.
And it kind of depends if he has a
I think I
Poplar
wouldn't
left
have
in
gone
his
for the
deck.
SP. then.
Shinping's team a little bit behind here with Table C. Thomas taking a 2-0 victory, and Table B is 1 game behind already.
Oh, I hope we get to watch the whole thing for
All right, so he's
Shinping.
putting Birch back.
Okay. I mean, that's that's one of the wonderful things about the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, being able to put back some of your resources, re-enabling some of these cards. That means there is a target for Ash to summon out.
Yeah, this is huge. The fact that he had a Poplar left in his deck was massive, because one, he gets to do the banishing effect of original Sinful Spoilers, and if he chose to start with Ash itself, being able to search Poplar is really important, because you don't want the SP to banish something like, let's say you only had Birch left in your deck. That would be unfortunate, because you wouldn't be able to follow up from there because of the
That's
SP
right.
effect. So having
Shinping
Poplar
have
somewhere
a
was really
liquid
important, whether it was
overlay?
through Ash or with the original Sinful Spoils.
Now there is an infinite impermanence targeting that Poplar, negating its effect to add an additional card. The
Normal summon.
column is going to be negated as well. So we're going to normal summon out the Snake Eye Ash.
All chain SP Little Knight.
SP Little Knight has been activated in response.
Target itself and the Snake Eye Ash.
And we're going to get rid of the Snake Eye Ash temporarily.
And then SP will stay on the field, right?
And we're going to chain the Link Karibo to keep everything, online. So the SP is not going to banish because one of the targets was not available.
I really love that he put the Birch back into the deck too, so now he can search it like this. He sequenced this turn flawlessly to play around the SP. Absolutely flawlessly. Because he had just opened with just Ash first, then he would have been hit by, like, let's say he didn't have Poplar in his deck, he would have been hit by the SP, and then the Link Karibo on field wouldn't have been any good because Birch wouldn't line up with it. But the fact that he shuffled the Birch back into his deck allowed him to search the Poplar to kind of bait things out, then following up with Ash, and now the Link Karibo is in a much better place because he still has level 1 fire on the field.
That's right.
Now the Birch can be summoned, and he's in a great position here.
Where are we going to follow up with this one now?
IP SP?
I think it's
So can I
still
be
up in the air at the moment. Everett's still having the fire line in the
think
grave.
Shinping is
If
in
he
a
can get
great
access to it, I think
position
that's the
at this
hard
point,
part. Is there a Kirin in hand
Game 1 still.
and another fire to enable it?
Sure.
Because right now it doesn't seem like there's anything available on the field that we can see that's going to re-enable the fire monsters.
No, and now Dark is probably going to let him bring back IP, I presume.
Oh boy, IP is probably the best option here.
Okay, IP.
No point not.
Yeah, get some free protection.
And then
I mean, this
Shinping
has been the
can get
battle of the
Promethean
rocks.
Princess back.
We've seen multiple Nibiru's come crashing down.
Very interactive gameplay in these Snake Eye Mirror matches.
Are we going to see his boss monster?
I'm thinking, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to I didn't want to jinx it, but I really would love to see Borland.
All right, Table B had
He's
a
not
score update. Anthony taking the game to 1-1, and the Table A is still 0-0.
That's important. It would be really disappointing if this game ended without actually seeing the natural.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be. I hope they don't do that.
Oh, we're going to battle first.
Yep.
Okay, well, with Dark swinging in and pretty hard.
50.
Yes.
And then we got IP Masquerade attacking, and likely the Poplar as well.
35.5.
Yep.
I really hope they do.
Fire King Island is still live on the field.
Yeah, 35.
That could reset up everything for Everett.
Starting the battle.
Didn't he already use Link Karibo this turn?
I believe he did. He did use Link Karibo
He
this
did it
turn.
to dodge SP.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
And he realizes it. Yeah, they can't do that.
I'm glad they caught that quickly.
Moving to
Our judges worked really hard to make sure that.
Oh, I believe he wanted the additional damage for the Link Karibo.
I mean, I like it, right?
Yeah.
Every bit of value really matters.
I mean, oh, here we go. We're going to see a special summon out of SP
summon
Little Knight.
SP1, Poplar 2, target
Pop-
your island.
Yeah, here we go.
Poplar.
Getting rid of that island to cut off some of the possible flexibility of getting access to the Fire Kings in the graveyard.
That is crucial.
Or
And
anything
Poplar
more.
being put into the spell and trap zone. Well, that Sanctuary is still on the field. It can still be used to pay cost if needed. That was a really well executed turn.
I think so, yeah. Now he ends with SPIP on field.
Wonderful.
Not wonderful for his opponent.
Drop 2.
Everett is driving. I think that is top deck.
Stand by me.
Will he be able to get out of this one? This is a tight spot to get out of. Although I think this is still really good Yu-Gi-Oh! Demonstrated by both of these players.
Really shows the intricacies. Oh, well, that's not something you want to see. Which hand interruption do you think that one is that he just said?
Let's take a wild guess. I'm going to say, yeah, likely Droll. Okay, I'm going to take a guess. Maybe Effect Failure.
Okay, you think it's Effect Failure?
Well, I guess we'll see once it flips face up.
Okay, looking over his deck, he doesn't have Droll, so I can't. I'm not allowed to pick that one.
Okay, pick a different one.
I'll just go Ash Blossom.
Okay. I mean, it's the strongest defense.
It is.
And that, if Veiler was a ready hand, that would have been crucial. I mean, one turn too late. Is that what happened here?
Potentially. Now Shuping has every option he possibly wants. So I presume there's going to be some way he's able to deal 35-50 here on this turn.
I think it's really well done, Shinping.
No.
Normally,
look at that. We did see a drone lock run. Yeah, I knew we would see a drone lock run on the field.
Of course, of course. Are we turning that into a Link Haribo, or are we just going to keep going? It counts for the Link body. Okay, we're going into the extra deck. Oh, 2. We're going to Nightmare Phoenix? Oh, that was close. I didn't put the card down. Oh, Celine.
I'll summon Selene Effect.
Selene Effect gaining a ton of counters, I think.
More than
Wait, is there any spells?
There's 3 on the field already.
Yes, 3 on the field already. That's right. Each of those are continuous spells. There's none in his graveyard. I just got a quick glance. We're going to summon back, of course, the Jordan Lockwood. That is a spellcaster, not a winged beast.
I kind of want to see Everett's whole graveyard because I'm really curious if there's. Okay, they were spells.
Wait.
Like that. Okay.
This is insane. This could be it. Now, we have multiple options here.
He's kind of deciding, do I want to Zelantis this one? How do I want to end this one?
Zelantis is a pretty good choice. That is not his IP Masquerena. No, that was dangerous if we went to Zelantis and we just gave back an IP Masquerena. Yeah, using those monsters to make a Zelantis. Okay, well, we're going to resummon out the Ash. However, there's no fire monsters on the field.
Attack. Yeah, that over there is fine.
That's still going to be some damage. Oh, is that enough damage? No, that's not enough damage just yet.
Nope.
Target Ash.
Because it triggers like because they both summon at the same time, right?
Oh. Promethean Princess in Everett's field. Well, not field, but in graveyard is not activated because both sides got a lot of special summons. And that gives him back the fire monster.
Oh no.
If only the Ash was summoned face down.
Targets are...
targeting Ash and Zelantis.
Ash and Zelantis.
Oh no.
Oh no. He allows his Zelantis is now blown up, and now there is a very strange card on the field.
If only somebody went over every Zelantis interaction possible before the event.
Unfortunately, I think we may have forgotten about the one that really mattered the most, Promethean Princess. If only the Ash was summoned in face-down defense position.
I know. Well, that was an interesting outcome there at the end.
I mean, there was a lot of Nibiru's, there was lots of disruptions from hand, and at the end of the day, it was an Ash Blossom that kind of brought it all back.
That's amazing how we were talking about which hand interruption did he draw, and it did happen to be Ash Blossom, and it actually mattered. It was the entire game.
Yeah, that kind of cleaned it up. If it was someone face down, there would be no fire monsters on the field.
I know. Can you imagine that? He draws Ash Blossom. Imagine how many duelists would have conceded there.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I mean, honestly, to conserve time, I'm probably someone that would have conceded.
Oh, wow. You know what?
This is that 1% chance for those of you out there who are like, I never conceded until my life points at 0.
Yeah.
That it justifies that opinion.
That game 1 took 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for Shuping to come back and win both of these upcoming games, so he really has to hope his teammate can win.
That was an epic game.
It was. It
or
was.
Just wins it in time.
Anthony, I think the pressure's on Anthony right now because Anthony is down to the 1-1, so if he loses his, we might not even see this particular match finish.
That is true. That is true.
which would be unfortunate. The back and forth here between Ever and Shuping has been quite entertaining.
I like the disruption from hand play. Just so many of them. The number of spell cards in Shinping's deck is just very, very minimal.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there's 30 monsters is quite impressive. Yes, there's so many things about this particular game that we just saw. That one Effect Veiler on Promethean Princess early on cut Shuping off from winning through the OTK. We saw, obviously, that interaction in the last turn that was quite fascinating.
I think that was a very big misstep coming from Shinping.
Yeah, a lot of small little things. And then the other thing in this match so far that has stood out was that circle, that one of circle that wasn't searched out previously. It was a naturally drawn circle of the Fire Kings. I think really took Shuping by surprise.
But now that
the Ghost Mourner.
That's true, and now that he's aware of it, now there's going to be additional lines that Shuping is going to think through before committing into any play that would require, a level 1 monster being negated.
With he has, the full copies of Effect Veiler, full copies of Infinite Impermanence, like many duelists this weekend have elected to do, plus multiple copies of Ghost Mourner. There's a lot of different cards in his deck that when he activates, he has to just kind of hope and pray that there's no Kieran or, in this deck, the Circle of the Fire Kings.
I wonder how this is going to play out now. Shinping hopefully is not too shaken by his own mistake there.
If there's any duelist in this venue today, in this event in general, who I think can shake that off, it's going to be Shuping.
Yeah, definitely.
He's been in every situation. He's played at the grandest stages. He's played against everybody you can think of.
And he's also a UDS champion.
UDS champion. YCS champion?
I'm not sure if he's taking a YCS.
I think he went 3v3. Maybe I'm incorrect, but he's played in every situation you can ever imagine. So I think he'll be able to shake off what we imagined was probably a misstep there at the very end by summoning Ash Blossom in attack mode.
This is a tough one because it's all down to Anthony taking his win, and Shinping needs to win this one. He needs to keep his life points up, and he also needs to win this one just for a chance for the team to kind of advance forward. Maybe not taking the loss. This is really, really tight.
Shuping's going to need to be able to pull off one of those very, very swift and quick 8,000.
Yeah. And now we're going to proceed into game 2. Now, game 2,
like anti-spell,
after siding, these particular matches, they go one of two ways. I've never seen it be in between. They're either really, really fast, or they're going to drag on.
I already see a Nibiru and Everett, which is a really great card for him to start with.
Stand by main phase?
Going to main phase, Shinping. I believe he won the die roll on this one too, and now he's going first again.
Normal effect.
Normal summoning out Ash. Not Ash Blossom, but Snake Eye Ash.
And it resolves unlike game 1.
Maybe there's a follow-up Drone Lockbird. We're just waiting for the card to be added to hand to see if Everett has a follow-up.
Nope.
Chainlink 1?
Yeah.
And Poplar Chainlink 1, okay.
So now he's probably going to search out the original Sinful Spoils.
No, go for the Temple.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, Temple right here kind of just mitigates the Nibiru in Everett's hand.
Sure.
And there's the Oak.
Perfect.
Bonfire now. Now that everything's been safe, we're not going to see the draw. Bonfire's safe. Get the additional card.
Yeah, that's important for anybody who's trying to learn this strategy. If you have Ash and Bonfire, Joel and Lockbird on Bonfire basically ends your turn. Joel and Lockbird on Ash doesn't do all that much.
Neither with Poplar either.
Yeah, Poplar as well. So you definitely want to be able to sequence these really powerful searching effects correctly. And of course, Shuping knows exactly what to do, and he's playing at a nice quick pace, knowing what the time situation here is.
And I think starting off with the Flamberjacken is such a crucial play here. Oh, we use the Oak for cost.
Now we're going here into a Link 2.
I'm just wondering if Shinping is just baiting a Nibiru. Yeah, we've got multiple cards set up here. There is
really
a possibility that in his hand he already has a copy of original.
Yeah, that would be a great way of playing around Nibiru.
Now this is summon 1, 2, 3, 4. There's at least 5 summons now. We're going to summon back the Poplar. Everything here is now on the board.
And see, the beauty here is if he goes Nibiru, the Temple is going to allow him to summon the Flamebird, and then that's going to be able to put IP back into the Spell and Trap, to the Spell and Trap card zone, and then summon it on the opponent's turn. So just there's a layer of interaction.
I love it, and we're going to be linking off the Poplar and the IP. I think this is the Princess.
A lot of discipline there from Everett not to play Nibiru on a field in which Nibiru was viable.
Princess has landed onto the field. Touchdown. And are we going to see a Nibiru? That's just so much patience.
What I mean by viable is any point where Apollosa is threatened is the sort of the viable situation in which you could be using your Nibiru if you have it.
That's right.
But he knows that Chuping has a lot that he wants to have going on here, and he's going to hold that Nibiru like to the very last stage possible.
But considering that Everett is so patient, this is a tough spot.
This is impressive because now he actually got Flame Barrage out of the Spell and Trap card zone. Oh.
And the IP Masquerade has been pushed to the Spell and Trap zone. Now the IP Masquerade can still be pushed back onto the field.
Yeah.
As long as your opponent summons. Oh, there's double Flamberge. Now, at the moment, we're still a little bit fire locked, so
yeah, there's no
threat.
He just goes
have to
into
get rid of that
and
Promethean Princess.
Anything. He goes 2, 3, 4. Brings back 2 bodies.
Oh boy. When Nibiru comes down, it's going to be rough. Okay, we have Pyro Phoenix.
Oh, it sounds like
No.
this match has come to an end.
Basketball's in your hand. Are we going to finish the match or are we done?
It seems like the match has concluded, and they're revealing hands. I think this is wow, that is one of the best combinations. A negate plus a Nibiru.
Wow, even if he did summon Aplos, it wouldn't have mattered.
No.
Best of luck in the rest of your rounds.
Okay. Well,
See,
it does seem like the Goon Squad takes this one.
Yeah, the Goon Squad.
Man, that's the one disappointment I have with it when they finished the match early and the other two come through. But man, for as long as it lasted, that was a good match. I'm gonna make sure I rewatch that because Shunping played around Nibiru so excellently. That was like making Nibiru so bad.